Sup YouTube, Constant Gamer here, and today we are playing Requiem's Echo, a Resident Evil dating sim. I don't even know what to say. Let's jump into this, bro. Choose skin color. Oh, it's my it's up and down on the D-pad. I was like, what the hell? You step out of a worn-out house, the door creaking behind you as it swings shut. The weight of your gear drags at your body, but it's not just the equipment, it's the years. You've been preparing for this night longer than you care to admit. Every step feels heavy. But you can't stop. Not now. Your gaze lingers on the windows. Inside, the shadows of your old life remain. A life that feels like a ghost now. Let me turn this up just a little bit. There we go. Is that better? That's probably better right there. It sounds so much louder to me, by the way. Yeah. Photographs on the walls. Dust-covered remnants of forgotten hobbies. There was a time where you had dreams. Other dreams. Bro, this shit's gonna be cooked, ain't it? But they've only long since crumbled, replaced by a singular consuming purpose: hunting. You hear it. Birds flapping in a hurried ascent. You know what that means. Sunset is close. It's time. To die? At Five Nights at Freddy's 3, I'll hunt you down and you will see. The bonfire pierces the encroaching darkness, a lone beacon amidst the towering trees. You finish threading the barbed wire from tree to tree, building a harsh perimeter around the clearing, a trap with no escape. Your gaze drifts towards the horizon as the sun sinks lower, disappearing behind the trees, casting long shadows that stretch like dark fingers clawing at the ground. You need to be fast, they'll come soon. Put tripwires outside the clearing as well. You extend the explosives beyond the clearing, placing tripwires along the outer perimeter. If any of them manage to slip past the first line of defense, these will catch them. Tonight, there's no escape. The forest deepens into shadow as you finish setting the tripwires. You nod, satisfied, but there's one last step. Pulling out a knife, you make a swift cut across your palm, letting the blood drip onto the soil. It's dark, almost black in the fading light, and the ground drinks it up, vanishing as quickly as it falls. You wrap the wound with a strip of cloth, tightening it until the pain is a dull throb. What the hell was the point of cutting my hand for? I thought it was going to be to lure shit, but that didn't even matter, apparently. You don't usually do this. They're already drawn to the living. But today is different. You need all of them to come. You've tried tracking them to their lairs before, but the tunnels are too winding, too deep, too impossible to navigate. Tunnels of what? I thought we were talking about zombies. What the hell are we talking about? So instead you draw them out, just like they lure humans, using their scent to pull people to their deaths. It's a brutal contest of hunters, and you intend to be the last one standing. Sliding the gas mask over your face, the rubber cool and constricting against your skin, you settle behind a tree. A sharp pang of isolation digs into you. You wish you didn't have to do this alone, but the remaining townsfolk have changed. Consumed by whatever the circumstances, or whatever the creatures admit, they become something else, something hollow. You need to put a stop to this before they sacrifice someone else. The last rays of sunlight disappear, leaving a dead, suffocating silence. It's as if the forest itself is holding its breath, aware of what's coming. Your hands tremble slightly as you grip the flamethrower. It's metal cold despite the sweat on your palms. As soon as the creatures step into the clearing, the explosives will rip through the first wave, and the barbed wire will hold the rest in place. Then more will come. You'll pick them off, wave by wave, until there's nothing left but ash. After all the years of hunting, it comes down to this. Tonight. Either you kill them all, or they finally take you. Dude, where's the dating sim part? This is just a lore Leon's POV. Hell yeah. He feels it, a prickle on the back of his neck. His eyes flick into a cracked window as he passes, but there's nothing there, just shadows, shifting with his last light of day. I hate it when the neighbors are this quiet. The sun sinks lower, bleeding orange and red across the sky. He sighs, tapping his fingers on the handlebars. He wanted to get here earlier, but the mission briefing dragged on, and the local cops weren't exactly helpful. Oh my god, dude. Fucking quit yapping, get to humping. When he asked if they had seen anything strange, they all gave him the same blank stare. Nope, nothing, sir. He's not sure if they're lying, clueless, or just terrified. His GPS flashes, guiding him toward the lab on the outskirts. It's nestled in the forest, up on a hill. Easy enough, right? Just find the missing team, check the lab, and get out. Simple. Except it never is. Leon kills the engine and swings off the bike. I didn't know he was on a bike. I missed that part. The silence wrapping around him. The air feels wrong. Too still. The kind of stillness that gets under your skin. Okay, Leon. Just another spooky forest. What could go wrong? He moves on foot, the ground soft under his boots, dead leaves muffling his steps. His hand hovers near his gun. The path is narrow, overgrown, and the shadows stretch out long in the fading light. Then he sees it, a flickering light through the trees. Leon stops, narrowing his eyes. Someone's here. Maybe it's the missing team, or something else. He steps off the path, crouching low behind a tree for cover, watching the bonfire pulse in the dark. Whoever's camping out here has a terrible taste in... Oh, wait. I thought he was going to be yelling that, but no. Whoever's camping out here has a terrible taste in ambience. Then a faint smell hits him, sweet, cloying, almost floral. He grips his gun tighter, muscles tensing as his instincts kick in. This isn't the usual rotting stench of BOWs. This is different. Wrong. Whatever's ahead of him, it feels like it's calling to him. The last of the sunlight slips behind the trees. Darkness closes in, and the light flickers again, casting eerie shadows that seem to reach for him. He moves forward, slow and steady. His sense is on high alert. He's done this before, more times than he'd care to remember. Whatever's waiting in the dark, it's not going to catch him off guard. Leon's head is getting foggy, his senses dulled. He can see the fire now, a huge bonfire lighting up the dark. Spotting an opening, he steps forward, but something brushes against his chest. A wire. The faint beeping reaches him a second too late. Guess I really walked into that one. The tripwire triggers, a deafening blast tearing through the air. Oh! This one. Yeah. Let me just skip back to the part where Leon blows up. Okay, it's back to my POV. Cool. You listen. Breath fogging inside of your gas mask. The force feels suffocating. Every shadow pressing in, thick with tension. Fuck, this game's not even boring. I'm just getting tired. A sharp creaking noise breaks the silence. The sound of chitinous legs scraping over dry bark. The familiar clicks and snaps you've come to associate with the creatures. They're here. Your heart pounds, and you steady your breath. The filtered air dries stale against your lips. Fingers tightening around the flamethrower. You prepare to rise from your hiding spot, every muscle coiled. But then, movement catches your eye. A figure slipping through the clearing. A man. You freeze, watching as he steps closer to your traps. Wait, is he? He's disabling your tripwires. Your pulse races, heart hammering in your ears. Without thinking, you sprint from your spot, weaving through the traps you've committed to memory. You! Stop! Your voice comes out muffled, distorted by the mask, but he halts, turning to face you. For a split second, you're taken aback. He's Not what you expected. Sharp features, piercing eyes, striking in a way that seems out of place here. Not the kind of person you'd expect to stumble into a nightmare like this. Your gaze flickers to his hand, hovering near his gun, posture tense and controlled. Definitely not a civilian. The hell do you think you're doing? He raises an eyebrow, unbothered by your tone. These are yours? Yeah. How many did you disable already? He tilts his head, thinking for a moment. A few? You curse under your breath, gripping the flamethrower tighter. Just your luck, a clueless outsider ruining the day you waited years for. Why do you need so many explosives? Why do you need so many explosives? I'm hunting. His eyes shift to the flamethrower in your hands, then to the barbed wire strung between the trees. You have a rather unconventional way of hunting. You take a steadied breath. No time for this. You're not from this town, are you? You really should leave. Now. Your gaze drifts to the tree line, where you sense movement. The scent is starting to seep in, that sickly sweet floral odor the creatures emit. He's not wearing a mask. Already, you see a slight daze in his eyes. He won't last long if they get too close. The man shakes his head, taking a step closer. Not an option. I've got to get to that lab, and this is the only way through. You fidget with the flamethrower, torn between curiosity and frustration. Whoever he is, he needs to leave. You have no idea what's going on out there. That's me. You have no idea what's going on out there. Turn around, wait until morning. Whatever you're looking for at the lab, it's already been ransacked. But do whatever you want, just not right now. A familiar sound echoes through the fort. No, wait, hold on. Hold on. Oh no, I skipped dialogue. Damn! Gunshots ring out behind you. You glance back, catching sight of him, firing at the creatures as he runs, somehow keeping pace. Save your bullets! It won't kill them! A sharp crack sounds. Suddenly, warm air seeps into the mask. A piece of debris must have punctured it. You're exposed now. No spare within reach. You can only keep running. Barreling through the underbrush, you fire the flamethrower behind you, a wave of fire scorching the air. The creatures shriek and stumble back, but keep coming. You see him aim, shooting one of the explosives rigged to a nearby tree. The explosion rocks the clearing, and the smoke blankets everything. The forest is erupting into chaos. You run until you're far away, gasping as you tear off your broken mask. The cool night air fills your lungs, but it feels like failure. Everything you built is gone. The traps, the explosives, all of it, wasted. The man catches up, glancing back at the smoke and fire flickering in the distance, his gun still in hand, he looks unfazed. Quite the fireworks show back there. He looks at you, raising an eyebrow. What were those things? What were those things? You fought them before, right? Your blood boils, and you throw the broken mask to the ground. It's his fault. It's all your fault. What? I was going to kill every last one of them. I had everything set, and you ruined it. You ruined everything. He takes a defensive stance, eyes hardening. Hey, I didn't know that you had that place rigged to explode. Maybe next time, leave a sign. You glare back at him. Leave, outsider, before you mess things up even further. It's not safe here. He narrows his eyes, looking at you with calm that only makes your frustration flare hotter. Not for me. For you. You're gonna get yourself killed if you keep this up. Excuse me? You're the one who almost got yourself killed back there. I'm trained for this. I can handle it. You don't know those things like I do. They lure you with their scent. You want to get to the lab now? Go ahead. You'll end up like everyone else who's tried. Dead. He pauses, and for the first time, you see his expression soften slightly as he studies you. Did you see a team come through here? A lot of people came through here. They go to the lab, they get what they want, and they leave us to our fate. Or they go and never come back. Whoever you're looking for, they're probably dead. or worse. The man looks back towards the forest, his expression turning somber, thoughtful. This is fucking weird. I need to go to the lab and figure out what happened to them. I'm not leaving until I do. You shake your head, unsurprised. Of course they're all the same. Good luck. You'll need it. Without waiting for a response, you turn and march away. Ignoring the ache in your chest, you have to start all over again, rebuild, rearm. Your hand finds the pendant resting against your chest. You grip it tightly, letting the familiar shape press into your skin. I'm sorry. You storm back to the house, slamming the door behind you. The gear drops from your hands, but you barely notice. All you can think about is him, the arrogant outsider with his stoic face. You grit your teeth. He's gonna get himself killed. You know it. He doesn't even have a mask. The second he gets close to the lab, he's as good as dead. You told him to leave, warned him what was out there. If he dies, that's on him. You owe him nothing, and you ruined your plan. Your final chance at saving the rest of this town. But the thought of him stumbling into the lab, clueless, gnaws at you. Why the hell do you care? You shouldn't. You don't. Bro, I swear to God, if Leon dies again, bro. Despite the hunter's aggression, Leon decides to heed her warning. Oh, my chick? I didn't know that. I'm gonna be honest. I thought I was a dude. I thought we were going fucking... We were getting resident hard together. Our residents were about to get pretty evil. You know what I'm saying? But anyway... Leon decides to heed her warning. He waits until early morning before heading to the lab, her sharp words still lingering in his mind. He can't shake the thought that she left too abruptly, without giving him a real chance to help. He could have used more intel, and maybe kept an eye on her too. The last thing he wants is to watch another life get swallowed by Umbrella's mess. They've taken too much already. He shakes his head, recalling the fierce determination in her eyes, the way she seems set on wiping out those creatures at any cost. There's no doubt in his mind that BOWs are involved here. He's seen enough of Umbrella's twisted work to recognize the signs. It's almost impressive, in a grim way, that she's held her ground for so long. The lab looms ahead, abandoned and half crumbled. He pushes through the entrance. The hunter hadn't been lying. The place had been thoroughly ransacked. Papers scattered, equipment smashed, whatever was here is long gone. Perfect. More loose ends. Umbrella had so many labs scattered around the globe, it's been nearly impossible to track them all down. Some, like this one, escaped the government's eyes, but not the mercenaries. He looks around, wondering what they stole this time, and what it might lead to. Another outbreak, another bioweapon. It's always something. As soon as he finds out what this new threat is, the better. Maybe the rest of the town and that hunter can still be saved. He pauses, his mind drifting back to Spain, the village, the people. So many lives destroyed, so many people who never had a chance. He clenches his fist, wishing again that he could stop it all for good. But nothing is ever that simple. He's just one man, fighting an endless war. Still, he'll do what he can, like he always does. He pulls himself back to the present, focusing on the task. After rummaging through a few cabinets, he finds a torn notebook, its pages smudged with ash and age and grime. It seemed like a personal diary to the lead scientist. Dear something. Initial testing with the mold on humans has been promising. I'm confident we will create a strong host for the progenitor virus. Isn't the progenitor virus the one from Resident Evil 4? Half human, half insect. I'm not reading none of this shit, by the way. I don't feel like reading any of that. They exclusively feast on human flesh. Cool. Offsprings are weak. Leon flips the page, but dozens of entries are missing, years torn away, leaving only one final, frantic, scrawled handwriting. as if the scientist had written it in his last desperate moments. Of course he did, because everybody and their brother in Resident Evil does that shit. Like, I'm currently bleeding out and dying. Goodbye. Also, chainsaw monkey sharks. Like, fucking what? I should have read that one, probably. It's fine. The church, huh? He radios Hunnigan, relaying the situation in the contents of the diary. She promises to notify the higher-ups and arrange for reinforcements, but of course, it'll take time. Leon sighs. Reinforcements always take time. I'll send you the blueprints we have on file for the lab. There's no mention of an underground facility. Or there's mention of an underground facility. Looks like you need a key card to get in. Understood. Thanks. Leon Kennedy whips out his wiener and starts jacking it violently. Do you like the taste of this, evil resident? Fuck, I skipped it on accident. Just as he's about to search elsewhere, he hears a faint noise. Then, a familiar scent reaches him, a sickly sweet cloying with strange floral edge. But didn't the hunter say those things only came out at night? The smell thickens, his head swimming slightly. He snaps his gun up, instincts kicking in as something shovels closer in the dark. He fires, the gunshot ringing out, but the creature barely slows, advancing with a twisted, insectoid screech. Then flames light up the room. He turns, catching sight of the hunter, her face obscured by her gas mask. Relief flares up, but it's brief. Which part of bullets don't work didn't you get? Or do you just like wasting ammo? Leon's jaw tightens, annoyance replacing his earlier relief. Of course, she has to make this difficult. How long is this game, by the way? Oh my god. The man catches up with you outside, his eyes narrowed, but you almost see a flicker of relief beneath his guarded expression. Okay, for a minute there, I thought it was going to have a part where I was going to the place, to that point. I thought that's what was happening there for a minute, and I was like, dude, if that would have happened, I would have just skipped the dialogue. Were you following me? Next time, if you want a closer look, maybe just ask. I wanted to see if you were as competent as you claimed. You give him a once-over, unimpressed. Clearly not. I had everything under control. You scoff, not even trying to hide your frustration. Sure, if you plan to stick around, you'll need a mask, outsider. I won't always be here to save your ass. Name's Leon. And I figured that out myself, thanks. You shake your head and turn on your heel, ready to leave him to his fate. I found a door to an underground section of the lab. You pause, glancing back. The creatures probably hide there during the day. That's where their nests are. You'd never be able to kill them all without going down there. And to get in, we'll need a key card. He nods toward the lab entrance, then looks back at you, his gaze steady. And supplies, if we want to blow this place sky high. You raise an eyebrow, skeptical. We? I'm not thrilled about it, but you're gonna keep hunting them anyway, right? Might as well join forces. You search his face for any sign of deceit, but he just stares back, annoyingly calm. You don't trust this guy, but you're willing to take any chance to end this, even if it means teaming up. Fine. Well, that was easy. Keep talking and I'll change my mind. You pull an old, worn map out of the town from your jacket. Damn, that town is fucking huge. Leon leans in to look at the map, his shoulder brushing against yours. Dick stuck between your cheeks. Oh, Leon! For a moment, you catch the scent of him, sweat and smoke from the fight, mixed with something faintly sharp, like aftershave. I feel like Leon doesn't use aftershave. Leon feels like the kind of guy that wouldn't use aftershave. He probably fucking smells fantastic, though. It's oddly distracting, and you step back with a glare. Here's the layout of the town. Most of the gas masks have been destroyed by the townsfolk, but we might find a few at the... You swallow, your throat tightening. Fire station. His eyes flick to you, catching the hesitation in your voice. Why did the townsfolk destroy the masks? Memories flash through your mind of glassy-eyed townsfolk in a crazed frenzy, their minds lost to the pheromones, the endless orgies. Bro, they're literally the creatures just make you horny? That's funny, actually. The way they practically worship the creatures now, like twisted prophets of some new grotesque religion. It's against their beliefs. I had a few spare ones, but they got destroyed yesterday thanks to a noisy outsider. Maybe you should have kept them somewhere safer. And maybe you should never have come here. Never should have come here. A faint smirk tugs at his lips, his voice dripping with sarcasm. Then I'd have missed out on meeting such a charming person as yourself. Bro, why is he trying to get in my pants, dog? You glare, hating the way he just won't back down. The way he seems to find humor in every jab. And where can we find explosives? You jab a finger at the spot on the map. Here, the construction site. There should be some left in the crates. With any luck, they're still intact. Leon studies the map with a furrowed brow, then nods. The keycard is probably at the church. I found a note about it back at the lab. He looks up, meeting your gaze with infuriating calm. You're the local. Where do you want to start? What was at the construction site? I already forgot what they said. The keycard's at the church. Fire station's there. Where are we? Fire station's there. Keycard's there. I'll go to the construction site. I don't remember what's there. The construction site looks the same as you remember. Rusting metal frames, cracked concrete, and piles of debris waiting to collapse at any moment. A maze of danger, even before the creatures started to roam. You've gotten most of the explosives out over the years, but there were always a few crates in places too risky to reach on your own. Maybe now with Leon's help, you can finally grab the rest. As you lead him through the site, you feel the weight of his gaze scanning the area, always assessing, always alert. He moves like a trained agent, calculated, confident. He makes it all look so easy, like he's strolling through the park instead of a half-collapsed death trap. Then, voices echo through the steel beams, faint but unmistakable. You and Leon freeze at the same time. We need to clear
all this junk out. She's still using those damn explosives. I don't know where she keeps finding more of them.
Shit. You can't see them, but you hear their footsteps crunching through the rubble. Too many of them to handle head-on. Tension coils in your gut as you look at Leon, who's already watching you with an annoyingly calm expression. If we want to search in peace, we need to get rid of them. Or we could just sneak past them. You shoot him a withering glare, voice dripping with sarcasm. Because that's worked so well for me in the past. These people aren't exactly blind, Leon. Getting them to leave is safer. Sneaking past them is smarter. Less chance of getting caught. The air between you crackles, with each one of you digging in your heels. Neither willing to back down. You know what? Let's sneak past. Let's do Leon's ideas. You let out a frustrated sigh, but relent. Fine, let's do it your way this time. You both crouch low, moving quietly through the site. Leon takes the lead, his movement smooth and silent. You follow every muscle tense, hyper aware of the townsfolk patrolling nearby. The faint sound of their voices is a constant reminder of the danger, and for a moment, you can almost feel his confidence seeping into you. Stay in your own steps, yeah? I don't think that's his confidence seeping into you. After what feels like forever, you reach a cluster of crates. You start rummaging through them as quietly as possible, but they're empty. Well, if they're empty, how are we rummaging through them? There's nothing to rummage if they're empty. You glance at Leon, frustration simmering. Searching stealthily will take too long. Then, a voice shatters the silence. Who's there? Stop right there! Your heart lurches, and right before you can process the words, gunshots ring out, echoing through the crumbling site. You and Leon bolt, adrenaline flooding your veins as you scramble over broken concrete piles and rusted metal. Shouts chase after you, growing louder, closer. You stumble, and Leon's hand shoots out, gripping your arm and pulling you just in time, keeping you from face-planting into a pile of debris. Finally, you manage to lose them, ducking into a quieter, hidden section of the construction site. Once you're clear, you pull your arm free, wincing as a sharp pain flares up in your leg. Great plan, Leon. Real smooth. Congratulations. You get to say I told you so. Happy now? I'll be happy when we find the damn explosives. Oh, that's what we're here for. The two of you search the crates nearby, working quickly. After a few minutes, your hands finally lands on a stash of explosives, and you lift it with a sigh of relief, but part of you wonders if it'll be enough. You move to a different crate and try to pry it open. Let me. I can do it. I know, but it'll be quicker this way. You huff as he steps in, taking your spot with that infuriating calm. In his eagerness, his shirt snags on a jagged piece of metal jutting out from the crate, tearing down one side to expose a strip of bare skin. You can't help the smirk that tugs at your lips. Nice one, Agent. He looks down at the ruined shirt, unimpressed. Just what I needed. You turn back to the explosives, putting them in the bag, trying to ignore the rustling fabric behind you. But when you glance over, he's shrugging off the shirt entirely, leaving his upper body bare, every line of muscle and scar exposed in the dim light. For a second, you're caught off guard, your eyes lingering on the hard planes of his chest and the subtle movement of his shoulders. You force yourself to look away, jaw clenched, but he notices, and he's clearly not letting you off the hook. Didn't think you'd get distracted that easy. You clench your jaw, willing to pulse to steady. Was that what that said? I'm just wondering if you plan strutting down like that. If you plan on strutting around like that. We're here for supplies, not a show. He chuckles, tossing the torn shirt aside with a smirk. As much as you'd love that, I got a spare on my bike. You roll your eyes and shove the heavy bag of explosives in his arms. You're not as charming as you think. Right. Lead the way then. Unless you're waiting for an invitation. He hoists up the bag over his shoulder effortlessly, the movement drawing attention to the shift of muscles beneath his skin. You force yourself to turn on your heel, marching ahead without a glance back, though you can practically feel the smirk he's still wearing. Cool, task successful. What if he was like, alright babe, get naked. By the time they reach her house, the sky is deep into a dark, heavy blue, and the evening chill has settled around them. She stops abruptly at her door, noticing a bloody note tacked to the wood, a smudge of crimson smeared across the words. She reads it with a scoff, crumples it in her hand, and tosses it aside without a second thought. Leon glances down, catching the streaks of ink mixed with dried blood. What does it say? She gives a dry, humorless laugh. One of the town's leaders is warning me off, saying I've killed too many of their precious creatures. They don't like the balance being disrupted. She shrugs, an edge of bitterness in her voice. They've tried to stop me before. Nothing new. Aren't they going to come after you? Aren't they going to come after you for that? Let them try. Her tone is sharp, edged with weariness that speaks of repetition. If they do, I have other hideouts. She pushes the door open, stepping inside without looking back. Leon follows, and the place hits him like a wall. A strange, stifling mix of mothballs and plant oils. The windows sealed tightly, curtains drawn to block out any stray pheromones. As she moves through the small space, her movements are precise, each step purpose-driven. She glides over to a concealed compartment on the floor, pulls it open, and retrieves a gallon of fuel, refilling the flamethrower with a practiced hand. She doesn't spare him a glance, acting as if he were just another fixture in the room, an afterthought. Leon watches her, seeing himself reflected in her harsh routines, the methodical way she checks every corner. I love, too, the fact that, for the most part, I've just been reading and haven't really been adding, any, dialogue at all. I've literally just been reading this out loud, not even adding any additional commentary. Just straight up reading. That's funny as hell. This video is going to get a 10 out of 10, bro. Every movement screams survival, but it's more than that. She wrapped herself in layers of armor, bound tight by invisible barbed wire. keeping the world at an arm's length. He's worn that same armor himself, felt the sting of each barb, and he knows how hard it is to let anyone get close. You sit on a worn chair, focusing on tending to your wounds, cleaning and wrapping them with quick, experienced movements. Leon is scanning your space, his eyes drawn to a small cluster of faded photographs on a shelf. His fingers hover over one of them, hesitating. When did this all start? You keep your eyes on the wound, tightening the bandages just a little too hard. 3 years ago. A pause, then you add, almost as if forcing yourself to speak. The creatures have been around for as long as I can remember. They'd take a few people each month, and no one would care, unless it was family. Just some old folklore, a story to scare kids into staying inside after dark. You take a breath, fighting down the memories clawing their way up. But when the lab shut down, everything changed. They came every night, like clockwork, taking anyone outside after dark. Anyone who didn't make it inside was gone by morning. Now it seems they hunt whenever they need to, and it helps that the townspeople offer them sacrifices every week without fail. The room goes silent, your words hanging in the air like a shadow. You brace yourself for him to ask about the people in the photos, about your family, about the ones you lost. But instead, his voice is quieter, weighted with something you can't quite place. Why didn't you leave? Shit, I skipped the dialogue on accident. Then you resumed attending your wound, though your voice is frail and controlled. I made a promise. I'm not leaving until every last one of the... I wish there was like a chat that I could bring up to see all the ones I missed. Who exactly are you? He looks at you, his expression unreadable, a flicker of something cautious before he answers. Government agent. Makes sense now. He's calm in the face of creatures, the way he handled himself during the day, but that doesn't explain everything. Too many. He sighs, and for a moment his face softens, his guard slipping just enough for you to catch a glimpse of something deeper. I was a rookie cop the first time it happened. I had to learn the hard way, and afterwards, I didn't exactly have a choice. For a brief second, you see something raw in his eyes, something that feels uncomfortably close to your own reflection. You didn't have a choice either, not in any of this. Why didn't you leave? Surprise flickers across his face, and for an instant you catch a glimpse of something like pain. It's not that simple. You think you might finally get something real out of him, just a piece of truth to hold on to, but then, just as quickly, his walls snap back into place. Son of a bitch! It keeps, I keep accidentally hitting the right, or I keep hitting, R1, and, skipping a bunch of shit. Your reckless confidence is almost charming. Careful, don't fall in love. Don't worry, not happening. Damn! You settle onto the couch, lying down with half an eye on the door and the other on Leon, who sits a few feet away with his back to the wall, quietly disassembling and cleaning his guns. Your eyes close, but your mind stays alert, every creak of the old house keeping you tethered to consciousness. It isn't that the threats outside keep you awake, it's the stranger sharing your space, the one person who could throw everything you've worked for into chaos. Sleep. I'll take first watch. You start to protest, but he cuts you off with a steady look. If we're going to be a team, you'll need to trust me. You don't respond, but after you allow yourself to sink into the light, restless sleep, yeah. You fell asleep and then you woke up. The hours stretch on, room cloaked with silence. Yet, with Leon there for the first time in months, it doesn't feel quite as suffocating. Despite the friction, the guarded words, and the walls you both refuse to lower, his presence makes the silence feel a little less unbearable. You wake up to the sound of soft clattering in the kitchen. Your muscles are stiff, your body still on high alert. But you blink as your eyes open, and the sense of something cooking hits your senses, something you haven't smelt in a long time. You sit up, rubbing the sleep from your eyes. The morning light filters through cracked windows, casting muted shadows across the room. When you finally focus, you see him, Leon, standing by the stove, frying something in a pan. His back turned to you, Why didn't you wake me up? Leon glances over his shoulder, turning back to the stove. You look like you needed the rest. I don't need your sympathy. We're gonna be fighting together. You need to be alert. What about you? I'm fine. He plates the food and sets it down on the table, gesturing to it with a casual wave. You eye the meal with narrowed eyes, suspicious but intrigued. Leon shrugs. Dig in, or don't, or for me. You sit down reluctantly, glancing at the food, simple but warm. The smell is actually kind of nice, though you'd never admit that either. It's better than anything you've had in a while. You pick up a fork, stabbing into the food without much ceremony. You're already feeling a little less irritated. Where are we going today? You ask, trying to steer the conversation back to something practical, something that doesn't feel domestic. Leon sits across from you, shrugging as he eats. Your call. I feel like the church we should go last, I feel like. So we'll go to the fire station where everybody's fucking humping each other or something. Crazy butt sex orgies. You take a deep breath and walk inside the fire station. Just as empty and abandoned as it was the last time you came here. But now, standing inside it again, you feel the weight pressing down harder than before. The memories flow back uninvited. The sound of your father's voice. The sight of him in his gear. The pride of him in his eyes when they talk about the work he did. Oh, I thought that was going somewhere else. She was talking about orgies happening here, and when I seen the your father's voice, I honestly thought it was going with like fucking, yo, she saw her dad, like, you know, piping down bitches, and also probably getting piped down. Dude, I thought some fucking shit was going down. Dude, I'm so glad they didn't go I thought it was, bro. That would have been a wild thing to say. Leon's gaze shifts from the building to you, his expression unreadable. He must sense the tension in your posture, the way your shoulders have gone rigid. The layout's simple. First floor is the main room, storage, some lockers. Upstairs, risky. There's probably nothing we need up there. You know an awful lot. Not that it's any of your business, but I used to come here a lot. My father worked here. The admission slips out before you can stop it. You immediately regret saying anything, but you don't dare glance back to gauge his reaction. You keep your eyes on the dancing facade, hoping he won't push any further. But of course, he does. Ah. He hesitates, then adds in a softer tone. If this place means something to you, we can take our time. You stop in your tracks, turning to him. He's looking at you with something that almost resembles understanding, and for a moment, it's disarming. You feel a flicker of warmth beneath the walls you've built, a sense of being seen that makes you feel exposed in a way that you're not used to. You try to hide the vulnerability slipping through your defenses, meeting his gaze with a hard stare. I don't need your sympathy, Leon. He holds up his hands in a mock surrender, though there's something else in his eyes, something that feels dangerously close to empathy. Fine, no sympathy. Just saying, it's okay to feel something all about this. His words hang between you, making your heart pound just a bit faster. You ignore it, turning back to the station. Being here already hurts enough. You don't need him digging around in your scars. Let's go. He scans the room, eyes narrowed, assessing. We should still check the second floor. Could be more supplies up there. The structure's a mess. It's better if we stick to the first floor. Make sure we don't miss anything. His eyes narrow, his stance firm as if he's digging his heels just to challenge you. And if we miss something important because we played it safe, might be worth the risk, don't you think? His eyes catch yours, a glint of challenge in them. He knows you hate being questioned, especially here. And damn him, you can tell he's doing it on purpose. You bite the inside of your cheek, feeling the familiar irritation flare, but there's something also mixed in now, something warmer that you can't quite place. Bro, we're just gonna keep following Leon's idea. How else are we gonna get him to sleep with us, bro? Because we're hot and sexy and attractive, probably. We're probably like the fucking 10 out of 10 hottest baddie he's ever seen. That's how self-inserts work, right? You're always like 1,000 more times attractive as a self-insert than you are in real life. You roll your eyes but sigh, relenting. Fine, let's go to the second floor, then. But if you get yourself killed, don't expect me to drag your corpse back out. Dude, all this reading is making my fucking throat hurt, dude. Because I'm just yapping. Yeah. Dr. Pepper? Psh. Why would I have Dr. Pepper when when I can have W, bro? Use my code constantYT on w.gg to get 10% off your purchase, homie. I'm out here strapped with it. I'm gonna slowly build, like, I want a shelf, like, probably, like, right here, that goes across the back. It can't be too big because this chair is literally up against the wall. That's the wall there. And the desk is also up against the wall. I have, like, maybe a solid foot of room. Like, if I stood against my wall and lifted my arm up, I think my arm's length could almost reach wall to wall. So, yeah. But I'm going to get something set up that I can put all my W tubs in and, like, stack them up. Keep them in the background at all times. But, yeah, so use my code constantYT on w.gg to get 10% off your purchase. Anyway, now that advertisement's out of the way, let's get back to the gamer stuff. His words hang in the air, teasing and taunting. You brush past him, pretending not to feel the heat that spreads across your cheeks, the heat that spreads in between your legs. Together, you make your way up to the creaking staircase. The floorboards groan underfoot. Each step feels like it could be the last. Bro, I almost want to just, like, skip to the end where we just have, like, crazy fucking sweaty rough butt sex. Like, that's what I want. I just want to skip to the good shit, bro. I don't buy romance novels to read the romance, dog. I buy the romance novels to see the very end, bro. I like reading them last chapters when it gets good. Just as you're about to turn back, Leon gestures to a dusty corner near a row of broken lockers. 2 gas masks lie there, half hidden beneath some debris. Found something. But before you can respond, the floor beneath you gives to a sudden violent lurch. You let out a gasp, stumbling as the wood cracks and shifts under your feet. Leon reacts instantly, grabbing you by the arm and pulling you against him just as the ground crumbles beneath you. You land on top of him, bodies pressed together, his arms tight around your waist. Bro, I love to think, too, that there's probably somebody in this world right now who has either played this game or is playing this game and just fucking going it down, dude. His breath brushes over your cheek, warm and unsettling, and you're all too aware of his hands on your back, holding you steady. His hands pulling your nipples in both directions, like, treating them like they're rubber bands. For a second, you're both frozen, his heartbeat pounding against your chest, his face inches away from yours. Guess I was right about the floor. You try to keep your tone snarky, but your voice comes out breathless. He smirks, but his gaze is heavy, lingering a little too long on your lips. Yeah, good call. For a moment, neither of you moves. The silence feels thick, charged. Then you pull away, standing up a little too quickly and brushing yourself off as if that could rid you of your lingering warmth of his touch. You grab the 2 masks and your fingers trembling just slightly. You turn to head back down to the stairs, refusing to look his way. As you're moving, your hand brushes against something small and solid in the dust. You stop, bending down to pick it up. Your breath catches. It's a photograph, worn and faded, edges curling from age. Your father and his colleagues, smiling and alive, their faces blurred but unmistakable. You swallowed hard, feeling a lump form in your throat as the past closes in on you, more tangible than ever. Find anything else? You hesitate, glancing down at the photo, debating whether or not to keep it to yourself, but something about the moment loosens your grip on the walls. You hand him the picture, the vulnerability foreign, but strangely freezing. My dad. He studies the photograph, his expression softening. The usual sarcasm and edge melting away. For a second, it's like he actually sees you, sees past the defenses, past the prickly exterior. Guess good looks do run in the family. The sudden line catches you off guard, and your cheeks heat up despite yourself. But then he smirks, the hint of softness disappearing as quickly as it came. Shut up. You grab the photo back, slipping it into your jacket and brushing past him, heading out to the station with a mix of frustration and something lighter. As you step into the sunlight, you realize there's a small smile playing on your lips. Getting crazy. You ride back to her place. The ride back to her place is shrouded in rich amber glow of the setting sun, casting long shadows across the path. Leon tries to focus on the road, but it's hard to ignore the warmth of her thighs pressed against him, the way her grip tightens every time they hit a bump. Bro. Somebody wrote this shit. Somebody wrote this shit, bro. Oh my god, dog. What makes it worse is I'm fucking reading it out loud, recording this shit for a video, dog. I feel like secondhand embarrassment, but like... She's distracting in an infuriating, impossible to ignore way. As they near her place, he spots a small group gathered on a street corner, their voices low but thick with tension. She taps his shoulder, signaling for him to stop. They both listen, half hidden in the deepening shadows. Bodies in the forest. Bodies in the forest. She's done it again. She needs to be stopped. Leon's gaze shifts, taking in the bruises and scars wrapped around the group's wrists, legs, and their necks. Dark marks look like chains, binding them to something unseen. She'll get what she deserves, soon. He glances back at her. She rolls her eyes, acting unfazed by their words, but he doesn't miss the way her hands clench the handles by the bike's seat, knuckles turning white. Eventually the group disperses, and Leon nudges the bike forward, guiding it through the empty streets as the dusk descends around them. Silence stretches between them, thick and charged, until he breaks. What's with the scars? She's quiet for a moment, gaze fixed on the road ahead, her voice dropping to a low, almost resigned tone. They tie themselves down while they breathe in the creature's scent. It keeps them from wandering into the woods and getting killed, but the aphrodisiac effect still lingers. They're too far gone. All of them. A shiver runs down his spine. Unexpected and unwelcome, he decides to shift the mood. Well, it seems you're pretty popular around here. She huffs, as if shaking off the weight of the conversation. I'm the most popular in town. Get your facts right. He accelerates the bike, jolting it forward as they weave through the empty streets. Her arms instinctively wrap around his waist, pressing her body firmly against his back. Glancing over his shoulder, he smirks. You better hold on, Miss Popular. I'll hold on all right, just tight enough to choke you out. She pinches his side hard, and he fakes a yelp of pain through the grin, catching the smile in her voice. At least he managed to break through her walls, even if for just a moment. Bro, we fucking, ain't we? Right now, get naked. I'll get naked, Leon. Just jump on me, dog, whenever you're ready. You sit on the floor, turning your focus to the bandages. Leon managed to lift the mood a little on the ride back, but the heaviness still lingers. Sadness twists in your gut as you remember the faces of the townsfolk you once knew, people who had unwelcomed you, people whose stores you'd visited, whose homes you'd seen with your family. Now they're hollow, driven only by the urge to kill you. The memory hits harder than you'd like. You reach for a spot on your back, where an old wound has started to ache, maybe even opened up again, but you can't reach it. Cursing softly, you drop your hand, feeling both exhausted and helpless. Leon moves closer, crouching beside you. His face is unreadable as his gaze shifts towards your wounds, something unspoken flickering in his eyes. Can I? Sure, dog, why not? You hesitate. That mix of bone-deep exhaustion and something deeper, something harder to name, unsettling you, but after a beat, you nod. His hands move to your back, and the press of his fingers steady, careful. The touch is firm, yet gentle. You feel the warmth of his fingertips, the weight of his focus, and you flinch, unprepared for the unexpected tenderness. A lump rises in your throat, and you realize that it's been years since anyone has touched you like this, with such care. It hits you harder than any wound could. Did it hurt? No. You keep your gaze fixed. Oh, fuck. You keep your gaze fixed ahead, focusing on the sharp, earthly smell of the herbs rather than the heat of his hands on your skin, but it's impossible to ignore him completely. He asks where the spare gauze is, and you mumble its location, barely aware of the words leaving your mouth. When he finishes, his thumb lingers, grazing over your skin as if he can't quite bring himself to let go. Your pulse races, an involuntary reaction you're certain he feels under his fingertips. The realization snaps you out of it, and you push yourself up quickly, turning to face him. Thank you. Your words die on your lips as you catch a sight of him, a half-formed laugh bubbling up instead. Leon tilts his head, confused. What? What happened? His hair is tangled with cobwebs and bits of dust. Probably from when you reached up for the gauze. You try to hold back your amusement, but it's impossible. Nothing, Spider Boy. Leon's hand immediately goes to his head, fingers brushing through his hair. Perfect. Just the look I was going for. Dungeon chic. Your laughter spills over, breaking the silence. There's too much webbing, and he can't seem to clear it. No, idiot. Here, let me do it. He goes still as you reach for him, fingers working carefully through the strands of his hair. The room falls quiet again, the silence thickening around you as you pick out each bit of webbing. His breathing slows, deepens, and when your fingers brush against his scalp, you feel his chest rise, a slight hitch in his breath. You keep moving, but there's a strange awareness between you, a heightened focus in each movement, each accidental brush of your fingers. For a moment, he lifts his eyes, meeting yours. They're darker, softer, harder, veinier, watching you with an intensity that makes your heart skip. You can feel the warmth of him, of all of him, the smell of his balls, and the gunpowder and leather that clings to him. And when his gaze drops to your mouth, he lets out a breath. Small, almost soundless, but heavy, like his balls. His shoulders tense, like he's holding himself back, fighting an internal battle. Between taking your cheeks an hour later, your pulse hammers, your fingers pausing in his hair, frozen by the realization that his hand is hovering close to your waist, close enough that you feel its warmth without the touch. The moment stretches, something electric in the air between you both, your breath mingling in the charged quiet. Wait, I guess? I don't want to pull back, because pull back sounds like I'm fucking... Pull back sounds like I'm being like, get away from me. Wait, you pause, holding his gaze for a second longer. The air thickens between you. Leon shifts as if breaking a spell, then shakes his head, taking a half step back, his eyes darting everywhere but at you. You clear your throat, hoping he can't hear the faint tremor in it. I'll take the first watch tonight. You should rest. He watches you, almost like he's about to argue, but something in your expression, or maybe his own exhaustion, stops him. He gives a small, reluctant nod, and then settles down on the couch. You watch as he finally lets his guard drop, even if only for a moment, his shoulders relaxing into the cushions as his eyes fall shut. You glance down at your fingers. The tingle lingering reminds you of the warmth that's still caught between you both. Hell yeah. The warmth of the sunset fades slowly, casting the room in muted shadows, soft and heavy. You settle onto the floor, flamethrower in hand, half alert to every shift, every quiet sound from where Leon sleeps. Despite the pull of exhaustion, you resist, staying alert, eyes sharp as you keep watch. Just as your mind begins to drift, a soft choke sound pierces aside. Half muffled, yet unmistakable. Leon stirs restlessly, his face twisted in the dim light, caught in the throes of whatever nightmares haunt him. He's doing the entire Resident Evil 2 campaign in his mind, don't worry. And Resident Evil 4, because the way this game sounds is it's like post-Resi. The faint pain sound... I couldn't remember if I read this line or not. The faint pain sounds feel like a punch to the chest, striking too close you can't bear it. Without thinking, you cross the room, sitting beside him, place a hand on his shoulder, gently shaking him awake. Leon, wake up. His eyes fly open, wide and unfocused, his gaze meeting yours with a mix of fear and confusion. His breath is uneven, and for a moment he doesn't move, doesn't speak, as though he's still trapped somewhere else. Slowly his gaze sharpens, taking in the familiar surroundings. He rubs a shaky hand over his face, his forehead damp with sweat. A faint shiver runs through him. Unused. Okay, you're unused to offering comfort. So you're not. You could just say you're not used. Unused. Is unused a word? You're not used to offering comfort, unfamiliar with the vulnerability of it, but you remember the small, distant gestures, how your parents would hold you, grabbed you when the night grew too dark. Ah, fuck. I feel like these are both good options. I'll do breathe with me. Just take it one breath at a time. Leon takes a slow, shaky breath, mirroring your calm inhale, his chest rising in sync with yours. A hint of relief crosses his face as he follows your lead. His breaths become steadier with each inhale. Acting on instinct, you lean in closer, your hand lingering on his shoulder. His body shifts towards yours, unconsciously seeking out warmth and steadiness. He presses closer, his hand finding its way to the small of your back, his fingers flexing, searching for something solid to hold on to. It's too much. I know. You don't know what scares me. I don't know what scares me more, the things I've seen, or the idea that this might be the rest of my life. Dog, you and me both, bro. Oh my god. Fucking 1,000 yard stare, dog. I barely remember what normal even feels like. It feels like anything outside of your games is what it feels like. Without thinking, you pull him in tighter, committing to the feel of his warmth in the steady press of his weight against you to memory. I get it. I wish I didn't, but I do. He hums softly, a sound halfway between relief and resignation, his tension melting as he lets himself lean into you. His breathing steadies, and for a moment the two of you are wrapped in a shared silence, the kind that feels less empty and more whole. You start to imagine, just for a second, what a life like this would be, where these quiet, stolen moments aren't so rare, where his touch isn't fleeting. Then, as if sensing the shift, he abruptly pulls back, his gaze drops, and he clears his throat, a barrier rising again between you. Thanks. I'll keep watch now. I won't be able to fall asleep anyway. He rises to his feet, stepping forward to the kitchen, but not before you catch a brief flicker in his eyes, a look that mirrors the feeling still lingering in your skin, the strange subtle ache left by his warmth. What the Suddenly, you take his spot on the couch, your mind spinning, replaying the warmth, the closeness, the way he'd hold on to you for that brief, charged moment. You know rest won't come easy tonight. I don't think he can rest, at least not for a couple hours, dog. But if it takes longer than 4, we'll need to see a doctor. He watches her as she sleeps, her face softened in the quiet peace of it. The comfort between them tonight had been good. Too good. Unnervingly so. He shouldn't let himself get so attached. He knows better than anyone how quickly trauma binds people, weaving fragile connections from shared pain. But soon he'll be gone, off to fight some other nightmare in some other cursed place. She can still have a life after this, something steady, something real, something he gave up on a long time ago. It's too late for him. He's been carrying this weight for far too long to think that he could ever put it down. The idea of a future, of a life beyond the fight, hovers in the back of his mind like a cruel joke, something he refuses to reach for. He won't let himself hope for anything beyond survival. Hope is dangerous. We can't afford it. I mean, I guess he wouldn't be fighting some nightmare, because if this takes place after RE4, the next time we even see Leon is RE6, and he's like... I think you're like in like America, and I think you go to like Shanghai. Not really cursed places, unless you think the Chinese are cursed. You wake to the soft light of the early morning flickering through the sealed windows, a quiet stillness hanging in the air. For a moment, you let yourself lie there, gathering the fractured pieces of the last night in your mind. His warmth, the way he leaned into your embrace before pulling away, the echo of it lingers, a faint ache that tightens in your chest. But when you finally sit up, any trace of that moment is gone. Leon stands near the door, his back to you as he checks his gear, his movement sharp and efficient, a steely resolve masking any vulnerability he'd shown. He doesn't look at you, doesn't even acknowledge your presence as you rise, The contrast is jarring, the memory of last night's closeness dissolving into a cold distance of his posture. Breakfast is on the table. Eat. We need to move. You frown, an edge of frustration tugging at you. His tone is clipped, his eyes hard as he straps on his gear, every action radiating an almost palpable wall of distance. It's as if he's put up another layer of armor overnight, shutting you out entirely. Good morning to you too. He pauses, and for a split second you catch a flicker of something almost guilty on his face. But it's gone as quickly as it appears, his gaze hardening as he turns back to his gear. How do you feel? Fine. Don't get the wrong idea about yesterday. His words sting, colder than you'd expected. You glare, refusing to let him see how much they affect you. Sam, didn't mean anything. You're still insufferable. Good, good. You square your shoulders, swallowing down your own frustration as you gather your things, each movement pointed and deliberate. After last night, this cold detachment feels like a slap, a calculated retreat back into distance. One more stop, and then you're nearly free of this hellhole and everyone in it, right? He glances at you, his jaw tightening as if holding back a response. For a second, you wonder if he'll soften, but his face stays set, a mask of indifference. Right. It's a dismissal, plain and simple. You force yourself to look unfazed as you gulp down the breakfast he prepared, refusing to let him see how much his sudden shift has gotten under your skin. The silence between you is thick and heavy, each of you moving with determination that borders on anger. You spend the day lugging equipment back and forth to your hideout near the lab, loading up on fuel and explosives, taking turns on Leon's bike. The work is grueling, made worse by the tense silence that lingers between you. You barely speak, and when you do, it's clipped, cold, a silent truce at best. By the time you reach the church, the sun is dipping low, casting the place in a shadowed crimson glow. Everything feels on edge, and you can't tell if it's him or the damn mission. You test the door, but it's locked tight, so you and Leon find an open window, pushing aside the scattered debris as you climb inside. I've been recording this for an hour, dude. This game is dragging the fuck on. Smell hits you immediately. The interior's in disarray. I'm just wanting to fucking just be done with this now. Bones tattered and clothing lie in a haphazard pile, looking for fresher than others. Chill runs down your spine. Having the townsfolk been using this place for sacrifices, moving cautiously, you scan for the key card until Leon gestures you up to a wooden balcony, pointing to a white lab coat hanging loosely over the railing. A skeleton slumps over it, twisted and limp. I'll go get it. No, I will. His gaze snaps to you, cold and challenging. If you're so eager to get yourself killed, go find some other way to do it. You clench your fists, stepping up to him, close enough to see the hard line of his jaw. This man grates on you, and always assuming he knows best. The frustration, the tension, it's coiled so tight in your chest that you can barely think straight. If I wanted your opinion, I'd ask for it. Don't pretend to give a damn about me. The venom in your voice cuts through the air, and for a second, you think you see a flicker in his eyes, something dark, like frustration, but edged with something hotter. He opens his mouth to reply, but before he can, a slow, wet, scraping sound echoes through the church, dragging along the floor. The sun dips lower, casting an ominous red glow over the scene. Creatures, inside the church. Leon doesn't hesitate. He grabs your arm and pulls you towards a shadowed corner where a small confession booth stands. You resist, glancing back at the masks that fell into the ground as he tugged you forward. But this grip tightens, dragging you into the cramped space before you can think twice. You barely make it inside before the heavy footsteps close in, filling the silence with a sickening shuffle. The pheromones hit you first. A heady, overpowering scent, sugary and dark, coating your senses like a blanket you can't escape. Your skin prickles with heat, a flush creeping over your cheeks, your pulse quickening. You bite your lip, struggling to resist the hazy tingling sensation coursing through you. Leon's jaw tightens, his eyes narrowing as he fights the same effect. His breaths are shallow, each exhale brushing warm against your neck. His hand finds yours, the contact grounding and electric all at once. With trembling fingers, you rip open a small mothball package, thrusting it close to both your noses. It helps, but not enough. The creatures slink past outside, their scent hanging in the air, winding its way into every inch of you, heightening the tension between you and Leon. Hell yeah, bro, let's get it! Let's get it! You cling to his arm, feeling the tautness of his muscles as he restrains himself, his body coiled, almost as if he's battling the urge to open the door and pursue them. Yet his hand remains firm on yours, holding you in place, anchoring you to the moment. As the creatures finally shuffle away, a tense silence fills the booth. Your hand grips the door handle, ready to chase after them, but Leon's strong grip closes over yours, holding it shut. His strength catches you off guard, and you whirl to face him, anger flaring. Leon, let go. You're not going after them. The words ignite something fierce inside you, and without a second thought, you push him hard, pinning him to the back against the wall. Hell yeah, this is what I came for, dog. His jaw clenches, his eyes flashing with surprise and something else, darker, more open. He's still as you hold him there, waiting, his gaze steady but filled with a challenge, almost daring you. Who the hell you think you are? You think you can just walk in here and make everything right? You've only made things worse since you showed up. I can't wait for you to leave so I can forget all of this. Forget that you were even here. The words hit him hard. You can see the anger flash across his face, mixed with something hurt. But instead of pushing back, he just looks at you, his voice thick with frustration. Trust me, I can't wait to forget about you two. You reckless, stubborn. You cut him off, slamming him back against the wall, your lips meeting his in a desperate, furious clash. Just, take this, Leon! Just fucking leap at him. Damn, even the music knows it's sexy time. There's no thought, no caution, just raw need spilling over. The culmination of days of pent-up frustration. His hands find your waist, his fingers digging in possessively as he pulls you closer. Oh yeah. Every moment is charged, the intensity crackling between you both. It's not soft, not gentle. There's only anger and desire, tangled up in a way that neither of you can control. A low, almost pleading sound escapes him, a crack in his control, as he turns you around, pressing you firmly but carefully against the rough wood. Hey, yo, he's turning me around? Alright, guys, this might be a little too risque. Damn, he might be about to fuck my ass. His lip... Or was my back facing towards him? His lips trailed down your neck, lingering with each breath. His touch reverent and hesitant, as though he's barely holding back to the flood of need beneath the surface. There's a tremble in his fingers as he slides you. Oh, hell nah. Oh, hell no, bro. I've been recording this for 1 hour and 13 minutes. I swear, if this gets too horny to where I can't even upload this, I'll actually be pissed that I wasted so much time playing this shit. We'll give a dramatic representation. Fucking, bro, his urgency betraying him. But his hands pause, tracing the curve of your hips with tenderness that catches you off guard. Why is he so close? Bro, guys, if you get me to 500 subs, I'll release the full version of this for a fucking membership video. Holy shit. There is no way, past this line, there is no way I'm keeping the rest of this in that video, dog. I'll still read it, though. I'm still gonna go hard in the paint. But, like, hell nah. Oh, shit. That's a crazy sentence. I really don't want to read that. Hold on. I gotta fucking close my door, dude. There's gonna be some fucking weird shit going on. Dude, I keep thinking about the fact of what the fuck am I playing, bro? Is this even a game at this point? This is just porn. This pressing hard against your thigh. The heat of him undeniable. Bro, this shit better not get, like, too graphic. Well, that is pretty graphic. Dude straight up said he whipped out his wiener. His hands tighten around your waist, his breath coming in shallow, uneven grasps as he presses his forehead to the back of your neck, as if grounding himself in the moment. Tell me to stop. He whispers, voice thick and barely controlled, his hands gripping you tighter as though he's asking for permission, one last chance for you to pull away. But instead of answering, you lean back into him, your silence permission enough, and he lets out a ragged breath, his restraint shattering. Not a sound. We're not attracting those things back here. Wait, did it happen or did it not happen, bro? I'm starting to think it didn't happen. After a moment, he pulls back, adjusting his clothes, his expression hardening as he casts his gaze toward the door, a hint of something conflicted flickering in his eyes before it fades. He glances at you, almost uncertain, as you clean yourself with a tissue and throw it away. I guess it did happen, dog. Hell yeah, dude. I don't know what happened. I sure as fuck do, dog. You got laid! Fuck, just dap up Leon. Like, hey, yo! Hey, yo, dog, you got laid by self-insert chick. Self-insert Chan. You scoff softly, tugging your pants back up. The lingering ache of him making it hard. The lingering ache of him is a crazy sentence, making it hard to ignore the pull you still feel. You roll your eyes at his attempt to brush it off. It was just the pheromones, Leon. Right, just the pheromones. The tension simmers between you, and though part of you wants more, your mind is clear enough to recognize the need to leave now. If the pheromones' effect had been any stronger, you're not sure either of you would have been stopped in that cramped booth. When you mount his bike, Leon reaches back for your hands, guiding them around his waist. His fingers linger, a heartbeat longer than necessary, the final touch stirring the heat that hasn't quite left your body. You rest your cheek against his back, letting the warmth of him soak into you, a small reluctant smile hidden from his view. You both make it back to the house, your bodies worn yet buzzing with lingering high of pleasure. You tell yourself to forget it, to push the memory aside, but it clings to you, refusing to fade. Bro, the sexy music started up again. Are we doing it again? What the fuck? The two of you stand in quiet, small distance between you, but the tension is thick. It's unspoken, pulling, drawing you back towards each other. Bro, Leon's so good, he's getting laid twice. Your eyes meet briefly before you both look away, awkward and uncertain. The silence presses down, broken only by the something or another, because I didn't get to read that sentence. My headset just told me I need to recharge it. That sucks. You shift, trying to focus, but your mind keeps slipping back to him, hyper aware of his presence, his closeness, the memory of his touch still vivid in your mind. So, who gets first watch? Neither of you are looking at each other, and as you step forward, you end up bumping into him, his hands moving instinctively to steady you, his grip firm and grounding. You glance up, your eyes flickering down to his lips, your body reacting before your mind has a chance to catch up. We can decide later. The tension in his voice mirrors your own, a hint of something more than exhaustion of proximity. Your gaze settles on his mouth, and he hesitates only a moment before leaning in, closing the space between you. Your lips meet in a kiss that's hesitant at first, each of you testing the waters, as though unsure if it's okay to give in. But it deepens quickly, growing more urgent, a shared hunger that flares up from the quiet. Bro, this shit's gonna get more fucking intense, huh? Leon pulls back, his eyes scanning the room, a brief look of focus returning from his expression. We need to focus. Nah. You don't pull back, neither does he. The kiss deepens, your breath mingling as the urgency builds, the tension stretching until it's almost unbearable. I don't think that's the tension that's getting stretched, dog, at this point. I'm starting to think it's other things. You press closer, feeling the heat radiate between you, but a faint noise breaks through the haze, a quiet shuffling sound from one of the back rooms. Leon freezes, his head turning toward the noise, but it's too late. Shadows spill into the room, townsfolk moving fast and silent. Before either of you can react, rough hands grab you from behind, dragging you backward as you struggle, your limbs caught in their grip. Leon fights back, a flash of anger in his eyes, but he's overpowered too, forced to his knees beside you. Oh shit, We didn't even get laid a second time. When you regain consciousness, you're in a cage, cold iron pressing against your back. Your gaze darts around as the dimly lit curtains, only to see Leon lying across from you, stirring, his expression clouded and disoriented. A figure steps forward, the leader of the townsfolk. His eyes glinted with dark intent as he studies you both. I tried to reason with you, but you wouldn't listen, so now you'll see it. Feel it. He's gonna whip out his wiener too? You push against the bars of the cage. Let us out! Soon you'll be one of us. He disappears in the shadows just as a sickly sweet scent fills the air, thick and cloying. It sweeps into your lungs, spreading through your body with a heady warmth, fogging your thoughts, clouding your senses. Dread pulls in your stomach. You push against the bars again, desperation flooding you, but they hold fast. The unforgiving metal biting into your skin. Heat floods your veins, a flush crawling up your neck as every inch of you feels electrified, hypersensitive. You push against the bars, instinctively trying to get closer to the source of the scent, but the cage holds firm. Frustration and desire mix, intensifying with every breath as the scent works its way through you, impossible to resist. Your gaze falls onto Leon, and you see he's affected too, his body tense, shivering as he grips the bars, his chest heavy. His gaze meets yours, his eyes dark and filled with the same aching need. He fights it, jaw clenched, but you can see it's only a matter of time before the pheromones overwhelm him completely. The primal urge to move, to feel, it's consuming. When the need to follow the creatures finally subsides, a different heat takes its place, pulsing through you, desperate for release. Your body is too hot, every nerve straining, and you turn to Leon, feeling the pull of him, the closeness between you and the only relief from the unbearable ache. You reach out, your hand finding his, as he shudders under your touch, his grip tightening as if holding on to you is the only thing keeping him grounded. I can't take it anymore. I need you. Oh, fuck, this is so stupid. There's only you and him, lost in the heat that won't fade. The end? What? A tape comes out of the TV. You grab it. You have a feeling you should give it to someone. Whoa! There's like more game! What? Someone is humming a spooky tune. Oh, hey, you're back. Come, let's have a talk. There's a little dog. What the fuck? You return the VHS to her. She smiles to you. Thanks, how was it? I hope you enjoyed the tape. We tried some different ingredients this time. What are these tapes? They allow us to connect alternate universes. They're made with ingredients we gather on our travels, like slow burn embers and cliche caramel. Which ingredients are you using for the next tape? I'm not sure yet. The crew members decide. The travel logs will be updated when a decision is made. Voting always happens at the beginning of the month, so if you want to take part, join our crew. That's all for now. Sure thing, darling. If you need anything, you know where to find me. Thank you for being on this journey with us. Is that it? Ain't no fucking shot that's how this shit ends. As you enter the temple, you're enveloped by the scent of incense, which wraps around you like a warm embrace. The air hums with electric energy, of every corner seems to pulsate with the promise of passion, drawing you deeper in its embrace. Above you, the statues loom, their expressions frozen in a timeless display of mirth and serenity. Despite the stillness of stone, there's a vibracity to their features, as if they could wake up any moment and grant you lacious knowledge or endless pleasure. I don't think I want the preview. Yeah, I can't show that, dog. I just saw glorified porn. Pray for the full Was the full blessing gonna take me to a website? It's venture to the depths of tapes. Itch.io page. There you shall find the blessing we've granted. Nah, dog. I don't think I need to see the full HD cut of Leon getting fucking piping down some chick. So I think that's it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I fucking hope nobody watches this shit, but thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will never do this shit again. See ya.